I'm Eric Marcus, and we're back with Season 8 of Making Gay History. For this season, we're doing something different. We're reaching beyond my Making Gay History audio archive to bring you interviews with LGBTQ people, all drawn from the Studs Terkel Radio Archive in Chicago. I'm thrilled to be working with the archive because there's a special place in my heart for Studs Terkel. Back in 1988, when editor Rick Cott at Harper & Row commissioned me to write an oral history book about what was then called the lesbian and gay civil rights movement, he gave me an example of the kind of book he was looking for. He said he wanted a book for general readers, like Studs Terkel's oral history that explored what people do for work and how they feel about it. It was called Working. Growing up with my lefty parents, I of course knew who Studs Terkel was from his popular radio show, his books, and his outspoken support of liberal causes from unions and the Black Civil Rights Movement to gay rights and women's rights. Studs Terkel liked to point out that he was born 3 weeks after the Titanic went down in 1912. Studs had a lot more staying power than the Titanic, and over the course of a half-century, he conducted more than 5,000 interviews with regular people, famous people, literary legends, and on occasion, young authors just out of the gate. Here's Studs Terkel with one of those young authors in 1992 in his studio at WFMT Radio in Chicago.
Making History is the book. My guest is Eric Marcus, and it's an oral history of the gay movement from 1945 to 1990. It's a pip. You speak of the two women, Cecilia and Nancy Andrews and Cecilia Walhall, is it?
Yes, and their view of the world is really my view, that we can't change opinion without revealing to people who we are. And it's very much a one-on-one effort. A cab driver just the other day asked me if I was married. He came from the same part of the Ukraine as my family. We had a great talk. He asked if I was married, and I said, I'm not married, but I've been with my partner for 9 years, and we're not married because two men cannot marry in this country.
You told us to the cab driver.
Told us to the cab driver.
I'm the cab driver. I'm driving the cab now, and I hear it. Suddenly my back stiffens.
No, he paused for a second.
He did.
And he said, all people have the right to live as they choose. And then he paused again and he said, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. He said, I've never talked to someone I knew was gay before. He said, how do you get to be that way? Well, we had the best conversation.
That's great.
And here was the opportunity for me to talk one-on-one.
See, now you see what I did? I was guilty
You assumed.
of a generality.
You assumed he would have a
cab
problem.
driver. A cab driver, forgetting about third world cab drivers and others, not that would make any difference, cab driver, and so I said my back stiffened.
That's right, and his back didn't stiffen.
No, you see, so...
I had a cab driver yesterday who asked me also what I did, and he said, I had 2 gay roommates in college. This is a younger man,
yeah.
But I have not encountered yet a problem with a cab driver. Yet. Despite the stereotype.
Here again goes stereotype.
Yes.
See. We're talking really about stereotype, whether it be black women, gays,
Jews,
cab drivers.
Yes.
Stereotype. That's basically what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And what I hope when people read this is they'll stop making assumptions about who gay and lesbian people are and find out that we are very, very much living, breathing humans.
Over the course of the next 8 episodes, you'll get to know just a handful of the living, breathing humans Studs interviewed, including Quentin Crisp. He was an infamous and iconic homosexual British eccentric and author of a best-selling memoir, The Naked Civil Servant.
I have known homosexuals who thought the whole thing was wonderful and amusing and adventure and so on. I've never liked it. I never wanted to be on the outside. I never wanted to be someone whose sex was an object, whose sex was a subject of discussion. If I'd been a woman, my sex would not have been the subject of discussion at all.
You'll also hear a conversation about racial and gender oppression with Lorraine Hansberry from an interview recorded in 1959, just a couple of months after the curtain went up on her landmark play, A Raisin in the Sun.
Obviously, the most oppressed group of any oppressed group will be its women, obviously, since women, period, are oppressed in society, and if you've got an oppressed group, they're twice oppressed. Mm-hmm. So I should imagine that they react accordingly, as oppression makes people more militant and so forth and so on, then twice militant, because they're twice oppressed.
And you'll meet a female impersonator, best known as Les Lee, in a 1967 interview that took place at Les's raucous Paris nightclub.
So I felt that I would make my life as I choose and no one would bother me, which they didn't. And that I came right out of my shell. I really did, because I knew that by hiding or by trying to be something that I'm not would become very artificial. And therefore, I'm exactly as I am. I talk the way I please, I dress the way I please. And if people accept me, it's because I am what I am, and otherwise they don't, and I don't really care.
So join me for this 8th season of Making Gay History as we travel back in time with Studs Terkel to hear these and other extraordinary conversations with LGBTQ people from decades past. To make sure you don't miss a single episode, subscribe to Making Gay History wherever you get your podcasts. Or visit makinggayhistory.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter and listen to more than 80 episodes from our previous seasons. So long, until next time.